Hey, this is your girl, Coach O, founder and CEO of Action Speaks Volume Incorporated, where I am known as your procrastination strategist, behavior change expert, where I help you to build unshakable confidence, stop procrastinating, and you got it. Get your dreams out of your head into your life. I am going to give you a few minutes to join. Come on in the room. Go ahead and invite someone. We're going to talk here just for a few minutes, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let me invite a few people really quick, and then we're going to get this party started. We are not going to be on here long. It seems like it's been forever seeing you all, but I know that you have some things going on as I do, right? So let's spend a few minutes together just thinking about, thinking about and talking about whatever we talk about. How about that? You know how that go. Good evening, Shanti. So good to see you. So my question is, Coach O, love to ask questions, right? And so you see what the title of this live feed is. And so the question is, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And I know someone is thinking, can you imagine what, Coach, right? So my question is, can you imagine something chasing you and you don't run? Can you imagine that there is something after you and you are not running? You're not responding. You're not moving. Good evening, Willie. Thank you so much for joining. Shanti, I am doing well. Can you imagine that you have something nudging and tugging at you and you are not responding? Can you imagine? And you know that I love to talk about living the dream. One of my things is, getting your dream out of your head into your life. So can you imagine continuing life the way it currently is? Can you imagine continuing to do the things that you have always done? Or are you looking to do something different? Can you imagine, your outcome being different, your income being different, your emotions being different? Can you just imagine living that stress-free life? Can you imagine not having to worry about how you're going to take care of the things that need to be taken care of? How you're going to keep a roof over your head? How are you going to manage things? Good evening, Mary. Thank you so much for joining. You have to ask yourself, can you imagine seeing yourself out of that situation that you may be currently in? Can you imagine? So sometimes, a lot of people, they think, and I put a post or something out there like, really our thoughts, it comes into the things that we do. And the things that we do is the results that we will eventually see. Now, we don't want to get it twisted and think that, I know a lot of people, we love to talk about the law of attraction, but, there is no law of attraction without action. You're going to attract the things that you do. You're going to attract the things that you do. The things that you do will result in the results that you desire, right? So, I want to talk to you just for a few minutes. I want to talk to you just for a few minutes. Get my water on standby. I have to keep some water on standby. But I want to talk to you just for a few minutes, about how do you view you? How do you see yourself? How is it that you measure your own value? And how are you measuring your value? A lot of times we do not. Hey, Belinda, thank you so much for joining. A lot of times we don't value ourselves. Therefore, other people don't value us. And whether you're in business, whether you're on a job, it can be in a relationship. I want to talk about, imagining you living the life that you desire. Imagine you living the life that you design and not the life that you have been dealt, not the life that the world have given you, not a life by default, but a life by design. Good evening, Nana. Thank you so much for joining. So I want you to think about, what is it? What is it that you will require? What is it that you need to have the life that you want? See, a lot of times we don't have anything, in mind to say, what are my non-negotiables? What are those things that I just refuse to deal with? What are those things that I will not have in my space? Sometimes, some of us, we will put up with things that we know, listen, that we know that we do not like. We don't like it. We don't like how it's going. We don't like how it is flowing. We don't like the way it make us feel, but we don't do anything about it. And so a lot of times we devalue ourselves thinking that somebody else is going to come and value us more than we do. But what is her name? Oh my God, it's right at the tip of my tongue. Hey, Anterica, thank you so much for joining. As Aretha Franklin said, RESPECT, it starts with me. And it starts with you. You have to respect yourself enough to know your value, not just in life, not just in business, not just in relationship, but you have to know what your value is. You have to be the person that identify what your worth is. Don't let another person, another day tell you what you're worth. You hear me? I mean, a lot of times we allow jobs to tell us what we're worth. We sign on the dotted line. They tell us how much they're going to pay us an hour. And a lot of times we think that's all we're worth because that's all they're offering. And we think that that's all we're worth because that's the first thing that we find or the only thing that we find. But do you know that you have space to create and not just survive? See, a lot of us have this scarcity mindset that we have to take any old thing. We have to accept any old thing. As I was sharing with some individuals on Friday, that even a lot of us are in our business, that we are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, doing anything for $1. Doing a little this and doing a little that so that we can make ends meet and not really tapping into what we are worth. Yes, I said it. A lot of people are being entrepreneurs in their business. Why is it that we are not charging what we're worth? Why is it that we're not getting what we're worth? Why is it that we're not getting the things that we want? Because we have allowed somebody to set us into this programmed mindset to think that this is the way things have to be. Our minds are like computers. You know how you have you have a memory chip in your computer, or you have your thumb drive that you save information on, and it just run, the things are running in the background on your computer. And these things right here are like computers. We have things running in our background from our past, what people have said, how people have felt about us, what people thought. Do you know that what they said, and I know somebody on here is thinking that, and they're saying it, they've experienced it, that easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But we have to get up off of these cliches, think about what we're thinking about, and anything that is not bringing you joy, happiness, peace, putting a smile on your face, you know what? You got to let that go. You got to stop putting your energy to those things that are draining you, and those people that are draining you. You have to stop entertaining things that are not taking you forward, that are not taking you that are not taking you higher. You got to be at a point that you say higher heights and deeper depths and wider widths, that at a point that you want to go wider, you want to go higher, you want to go deeper, but you are not sitting around entertaining the foolery of people that are not even qualified to critique you. You got people judging the things that you are doing that don't, one, have anything to do with them. It doesn't matter what you do or what you don't do. It don't have anything to do with them. And a lot of us has fell in the trap on people pleasing and doing the thing that they think that we should do, and it doesn't bring us any joy. It doesn't make us happy. It does not make us feel good, right? We have to get to a point that we recognize that we have control over this being, over this thing. When we really tap into who we are, I got a question. Who can really stop you? What can really stop you? I want you to think about the things that you're thinking about. And if those things are that you're thinking about, I don't care if it was what somebody said or what somebody did, and if it was last night, if it don't bring you joy, replace that thing. Think about what you are thinking about. Think about the things that you are allowing to occupy your space. Not to say that you are just pushing these things under the rug. Not to say that these things were not hurtful. Not to say that you agree with what happened. No. But it's like forgiveness. You don't forgive the person that hurt you for them. You forgive them for you. Because one, if you don't forgive, you can't be forgiven. But the longer you hold on to that pain, the longer you hold on to what they said and what they did, the longer you hold on to how it made you feel, the longer you have to suffer from it. They have moved on. They're living their life. They may have, did some things they don't even recognize that they did. Do you know people can hurt your feelings and people can hurt your feelings unaware? But you have to ask yourself, what does this mean to me? How is this impacting me? How is this hurting me? And think about, if it does not give you more life, if it don't bring you more joy, more peace, there's a thing that says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. If your morning is never coming, you have to say, I got to shake this thing. I got to get this weight off of my back. I got to get these thoughts out of my mind, because this is not helping me. This is not giving me more life. I don't care if it was a diagnosis. I don't care if it was a breakup or divorce. I don't care if it was the loss of a job. Do you know that somebody somewhere is doing something? Somebody somewhere is doing something. This is where we get mixed up at. Listen, come in close. This is where we get mixed up at. We get mixed up at because if things are not happening where we are, we think that things are not possible. You may have to make a move, boo. You may have to move your location. They may not be hiring where you are, but they're hiring somewhere. But see, a lot of times we have this decision that we make for ourselves. We have this mindset that we get set in and said that nobody is doing nothing. But that is not true. Somebody, somewhere is doing something. So can you imagine being healed, being whole, being happy, being delivered, being set free? Can you imagine not having to worry about money, not having to be in an argumental relationship, not having to worry about where you're going to stay and what you're going to eat and what you're going to wear? Can you imagine? Because see, the word tells us to put no thought in tomorrow. Because see, tomorrow take care of itself. When you woke up this morning, you didn't have no problems. The problems that you had was the problems that you brought from yesterday. The problems that we have are the problems that we induce from a potential tomorrow. We may not even be in tomorrow. We may not even wake up to see tomorrow. We have to be in the nowness, in the present. We have to be willing. We have to know what our worth is. Because I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say something. If we don't know our value, how do we expect for somebody else to know it? If we don't value ourselves, how can we expect for somebody else to? If we don't put up for ourselves, how can we expect for somebody else to? See, a lot of times when we look at a thing that we need, we look at it as a cost. Instead of us looking at it as an investment to say that I'm going to get a return on my investment. And in business, we said, what is the ROI? What is the return on this investment? If I put $1 in and I get $2 out, I gain. Right? If you put $1 in and get $2, but see, this is the mindset that a lot of us have. We want to put $1 in and get 100 out. That don't make sense. But if you doubling your money, if you can, so this is what you need to do. Check this out. If I had a way to double my money and I'm doubling it from $1 to $2, you know what I'm going to do? Then I'm going to go from 2 to 4. And then I'm going to go from 4 to 8. And then I'm going to go from 8 to 16. And then I'm going to go from 16 to 32. And then I'm going to go to 32, from 32 to 64. And then I'm going to go from 64 to 128. And then I'm going to go from 128 to 256. Do you get the point? Do you see how that go? If I know that I can double my thing by the effort I put in, I'm going to put more in. But see, a lot of us, we want to go from 0 to 100. We want to go from nothing to everything. We want to go from not putting in anything to getting something out. That's not the way that works. But for all day long, we can go from 100 to 200, from 200 to 400, from 400 to 800. You get it? From 800 to 16, from 1600 to 32. And you get the point. But you got to be willing to put in something in order to get something out. And it may not be 100%. But if you're getting something over what you did, it's still worth it. Because guess what? If you don't do anything, if all you had is $1 and you kept $1, you got $1. But if you got $1 and you did something and you got $2, now you got $2, right? We got to start valuing our efforts. We got to start understanding our worth. And see, a lot of us, we would devalue ourselves to be with people, to do things for people, with people that don't have a good understanding of their value. Y'all not hearing me. Y'all are quiet. But it's the truth anyway. A lot of times we feel like, well, I got to settle for this because I don't have another choice. That is not true. You have another choice. And you don't have to settle for anything that you don't want. A lot of us allow fear to cause us to settle in a place, doing a thing with people that we don't really particularly care about, that we don't particularly want to do, that we don't particularly feel good about. But I encourage you on today to recognize who you are and know that you are valuable. Know that you have enough. Know that it is possible. Know that you can do it. But you got to be your first bet. Nobody is going to bet on somebody that don't have the confidence to bet on themselves. The banks don't do it. They tell you that you need collateral. What is it that you can put up? But see, a lot of times people don't want to put up nothing because they know they're not going to put out nothing. You know you're not going to put out the efforts. You know you're not going to put out the time. You know you're not going to put out the energy. You know you're not going to put it out. So you know you better than anybody else do. It doesn't matter about what people say, think, or how they feel. You know what you're going to do. That's why you're not moving on your behalf. But when I know that this investment in me is up to me. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's coming to get me. Nobody's coming to help me. If I want to live and live the life that I desire, if I want to live my dream, get them out of my head, get them off of my pillow, I know that it's up to me. I can't wait for you to come and get me. Because how long do I have to wait? They used to say, hold your breath and see how long you live. How long can you do that? Because see, being at the mercy of other people is the worst place for you to be. But can you imagine? Can you imagine waking up to a life that you love? Can you imagine doing the things that you desire? Can you imagine living the life of your dream? If you can imagine it, start thinking about it. And when you start thinking about it, you start making a plan. And with that plan, you start taking action and you watch how your results come. Look, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm getting ready to go to one of my favorite spaces so that I can generate some ideas. I have been working on some things this morning, getting things accomplished. You know, I'm on a different path. I'm on a different endeavor. But you know one thing that I'm never on? I'm never on the path of quitting. I will not quit. I will never quit on me. Can't do it. Quitting is not an option. There's nothing that I can face. There is nothing that can happen that can make me determine, that make me decide that I'm going to quit on me. No, that's not an option. That is not an option. Giving up is not an option. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. It doesn't matter how long it's hard. But one thing you shouldn't let come out of your mouth is, I give up. As long as you have hope, and as long as you have energy in your body, you keep running. You keep running. You don't allow nothing in this world, material things, stuff, or people, to make you think that life is not worth the living. You don't let a thing that you have encountered, a responsibility that you have, don't allow nothing. And this requires work. It requires intentionality. It requires for you to be intentional. This is not easy work to do. But you work it, it'll work. You stick with it, it'll stick with you. And no thing that you face can really bring you down. It may slow you up, but it can't take you out. You have the ability to move past anything that you may be facing. Look, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I hope that I have said something that will propel you into taking action. This is not the season for us to live a passive life. This is not the season for us to just go with the flow. This is the season for us to stand up, stand out, and stop blending in and accepting any old thing. Stop playing cards that's been dealt with you and you feel like you just can't win. You can win. I don't care what kind of cards you got, because somebody can win with the hand that you got. What we need to do, we need to continue to work on our personal development. We need to continue to have wisdom. We need to continue to gain knowledge. And we do that by studying. You study and you learn and you do. And even if you fail, you get up and you continue to try. But you don't give up, because giving up, it's not an option. Look, this is your girl, Coach O, founder and CEO of Action Speaks Volume Incorporated. I'm known as your procrastination strategist, behavior change expert, where I help you to build unshakable confidence, stop procrastinating, and get your dreams out of your head into your life. You will begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional. And don't be so quick to say that I'm giving up. I'll talk to you later.